Hi, good afternoon. Coming to you straight from the land of Queens, New York on a holiday eve. Happy holidays to everybody. I was out on the streets and like around 3 o'clock, it just came alive and then you couldn't move no place. Streets are backed up, avenues are backed up. I say, Minky, let me get out of here. I gotta go. Now, tonight is the turkey turn ups. Everybody want to tune in tonight. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna be drinking some Hennessy, throwing some smoke in the air, and having a good time, right? So I woke up early this morning and I started to watch The Irishman. Now I'm in like 45 minutes and I fucking love it already. And what I see is Joe Pesci just steals this. Right now 45 minutes in, and for me it's really all about Joe Pesci and Bufalino, and I'm just enthralled. And I text Shannon and I say, yo, we have to do a spotlight on this whole Bufalino regime. This is crazy. This is why I love this shit. It'll never end. The stories will never end. So as long as Ruckus Radio and the crew are here, we're gonna be putting up these mob stories. Salute to Dominic and Justice Tech Bros. Dominic, if you check your email, I did email you two banners. Let me know if it's too much. Do we gotta lower? Hey, just look at it and tell me if it needs changes. If it does, we'll change it exactly the way you want it. All right, so we can start running these banners during these mob stories. But once again, you know how we do on a holiday eve. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. You got to be grateful for what you got. Some people are going through a lot right now and their families. Rosina, Dominic. We still wish you happy holidays, and the whole station, the whole crew of Ruckus Radio is behind you guys. And I wanted to get into some business, but before that, let's do what we do best, fellas. Wipe your feet on the rug, throw some smoke in the air. It's time to get down. Mob stories. Still got a little bit of pineapple express, delicious. Russell Bufalino in The Irishman, the real story of the mob boss. Of course, shattered Red Dish, high Red Dish, but more importantly, shattered Reddit. And it seems we get the green light. You know what I'm saying? Russell Bufalino was a powerful Pennsylvania Mafia boss known as McGee and the Old Man. He ran a string of garment businesses, but he was really at the helm of a ruthless crime family with roots in Sicily. And he was also a key figure in theories surrounding the disappearance of Teamster boss Jimmy Hoffa. Bufalino is featured in the new Martin Scorsese mob epic on Netflix, The Irishman, which focuses on labor official Frank Sheeran. Now, the article is going to have some spoilers, so, be wary. In real life, Russell Bufalino, played by Joe Pesci in The Irishman, was born in Sicily as Rosario Alberto Bufalino. The main character is Frank Sheeran, a labor official from Delaware with ties to Bufalino and the mob. The movie focuses on Sheeran's confession. He said he killed Hoffa at the behest of Bufalino in a 2004 book. Some experts don't believe that Sheeran murdered Hoffa, although he was clearly linked to Bufalino. The crime chief, who often is accused of giving the ultimate order to whack Hoffa, even by those who didn't think Sheeran was the triggerman. Hoffa's murder has never been officially solved. No one has stood trial in his death. The principal suspects are all long dead, including Bufalino, who died in 1994, and his body has never been found. The trail, though, seems to lead back to Bufalino in many theories. Citizen's Voice, which obtained Bufalino's FBI file, described him as soft spoken, 8 fingered Sicilian with a lazy eye, known to his closest associates as McGee. One FBI report in the file indicated that Sheeran was observed driving Russell Bufalino in Detroit right after Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance. Here's what you need to know about Russell Bufalino. Russell Bufalino ran a powerful Cosa Nostra family that the government warned should not be underestimated. A Pennsylvania Crime Commission 1989 report indicated that the Russell Bufalino family in 1980 was described as operating in northeastern Pennsylvania, New York State, and New York City, and may be the most powerful Cosa Nostra family in the Commonwealth. The power which is held by Bufalino and his family should not be underestimated. However, that was in 1980, and by 1989, the family's power was weakened as the old man aged. The family traced its origins to the 1880s in the Piston area of Luzerne County. Rosario Albert Bufalino, Russell's real name, was born on October 29, 1903, in Sicily, the reports say. He became the boss of the northeastern Pennsylvania Cosa Nostra family in 1959, one of the nation's most ruthless and powerful organized crime figures. In fact, the in fact, then 85-year-old Rosario Bufalino was credited with arranging an infamous Appalachian Convention of leading organized crime figures in 1957. The commission's report says the family's power was established in labor racketeering in the region's garment and coal industries. Bufalino traveled weekly from his Kingston home to New York City. In 1960, there were 35 active members, but the crime family was cut in half a decade later. The Brandt book, I Heard You Paint Houses, quotes Frank Sheeran as calling Russell Bufalino the other one of the two greatest men I ever met. His favorite song was Spanish Eyes. The famous five families of New York sought his counsel. The book says Bufalino didn't want Jimmy Hoffa to run for Union president again. Both were short men who were solid muscle from head to toe. They had an alliance and mutual respect that disintegrated after Bobby Kennedy's war against the mob and Hoffa's subsequent attempt to regain control of the Teamsters. The mob thought Hoffa was a rat and their share of the pension system was in peril. Bufalino, Sheeran says, decided that Jimmy Hoffa had to go and asked him, a friend, to carry out the hit because Hoffa would be unsuspecting. The book says that Time magazine reported at the time that Bufalino and Chicago mob boss Sam Giancana had worked on behalf of the CIA in 1961 and the Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba and in 1962 in a plot to kill Castro. Russ was very spry and born in Sicily but spoke perfect English. He was married to wife Carrie, but they didn't have children, the Brandt book says. Russell said of Jimmy, according to Sheeran in the book, your friend made one threat too many in his life. There won't be a body. My Irishman. We did all we could for the man. Nobody could tell the man what it is. We get into Detroit together Wednesday night. At the time, Hoffa was as famous as Elvis. Bufalino's wife, Carolina Sciandra, Carrie, was related to the Sciandra line of La Cosa Nostra. Her family didn't have bosses in it, but went back to the earliest days of the American Mafia. Sheeran said that of all the crime bosses he met, Russell's mannerisms and style most fit those that matched Marlon Brando in The Godfather. Yet his name was not widely known to the public, and he liked it that way. In the late 1970s, Bufalino was found guilty of extortion and sentenced to 4 years in prison. His first prison term came in 1978. By 1989, Bufalino was in ill health and incarcerated at the Medical Center of Federal Prisoners in Missouri. He was convicted of extorting a man named Jack Napoli. The family's underboss was named James Ostico, 76th in that report. The Bufalino family was involved in illegal gambling, loan sharking, narcotics trafficking, and labor racketeering, according to the report, which added that it was involved in labor racketeering with members of the Teamster Union. A 1960 article in Walks Bar Times leader described Russell Bufalino as a Pittston drapery manufacturer who was facing deportation to Italy. It said that Bufalino was then serving a 5-year sentence for a conviction in a conspiracy of silence case that grew out of a 1957 crime convention in New York. According to the Times leader, Russell Bufalino was born October 3rd, 1903 in Sicily. The crime family he ran until his 1994 death was one of the country's most effective and influential crime families, the newspapers reported, but he lived in an unassuming house while running everything from dress factories in West Pittston to casinos in Havana, Cuba. By 1953, the FBI was calling him one of the two most powerful men in the mafia of the Pittston, Pennsylvania area. Times leader reported, adding that Bufalino once worked as a mechanic in Canada Dry Ginger Ale Bottling Company. When he died at the age of 91, the newspaper called him the last of the Pennsylvania's old-school mafiosi and the Don of Dons. A 2016 article in Penn Live reported that the Bufalino crime family is one of the three prominent La Cosa Nostra families in Pennsylvania, but its power has weakened. A March 1980 article in the Times Leader in Wilkes Barre reported that Russell Bufalino was identified by state and federal authorities as the head of a large organized crime family in northeastern Pennsylvania. Already 76 year old, already 76 old, already 76 years old by that time, he was sitting in federal prison in Danbury, Connecticut, after being convicted in 1977 of conspiracy in a death threat case. Bufalino was said to be a partner in ADS Contracting Company, a garment firm. Pittston, where Bufalino's crime operation was based, was considered in the same league as cities like New York, Los Angeles, and New Orleans as headquarters for organized crime. The Times Leader reported it in February 1980. The article reported that Bufalino was listed in federal documents as not only leader of a mafia family in northeastern Pennsylvania, but as one of the ruling members of the mafia's National Council, composed of various organized crime figures from throughout the country. Writer Stephen Brill identified Bufalino as playing a key role in Hoffa's disappearance in the book on the Teamsters. In addition, he was accused of a horse race fixing scheme at Pocono Downs and in the murder and attempted murder of Teamsters official in Philadelphia and Delaware. In 2004, an article in the Detroit Free Press discussed Sheeran's confession. It stated that the FBI has long suspected that Tony Provenzano, henchman brothers Thomas and Stefan Andretta, and brothers Gabriel and Salvatore Briguglio killed Hoffa to prevent him from regaining the Teamsters presidency. They were worried he would cut off mob access to union pension funds. Sheeran claimed that Bufalino ordered him to kill Hoffa because national mafia figures were sick of Hoffa threatening to cut the mob off from the union and thought he might be an FBI snitch. Sheeran claimed that Hoffa thought he would protect him and was driven by Foster's son, Chucky O'Brien. He implied the Andretta brothers and Sal Briguglio were at the death house, the Free Press reported. He claimed that brought to a house in Detroit, Hoffa realized it was a hit, but it was too late. He said he shot him in the back of the head behind his right ear. My friends didn't suffer, according to the Detroit newspaper. Sheeran said that Bufalino claimed Hoffa's body was burned in either a trash incinerator or funeral home, according to the Detroit Free Press article. O'Brien was involved in the murder, he said. The newspaper said O'Brien denied Sheeran's account and that those named had alibis. It's a pretty cool report, but we are going to do an in-depth mob spotlight on the Bufalino families because this is just a tip of the iceberg. This man controlled a lot. Very, very powerful man. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be back tonight live, 9 o'clock for the turkey turn-up. Throw some ice in your cup. You know, perhaps you like your drink with no junk in it. Whatever it is. Join us tonight. Have some fun. All right? Getting ready for the holidays. I love the holidays. You gear down for a while. You relax. You know what I'm saying? Throw some smoke in the air. You take it easy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody have a good evening. We will talk soon. Salute. Mob Stories. You know the team. Like the video. Share the video and comment. Let me know what you guys are smoking on tonight. Are you partying tonight? Are you partying tomorrow? What are you eating? You know what I'm saying? How is it going down? You know what I'm saying? Let me know. Leave some dishes in the comment sections. Maybe I may cook some up myself. But really, I'm going out tomorrow. I'm taking it easy. All right, so everybody have a good evening. We'll talk soon. Salute.